funding, and you are.
My name is Alexa Garovska from Frugal Frames.
Thank you for having us, and we're really excited to highlight your story. Here at Frugal Frames, can you introduce the business and yourself and how it got started?
Sure. So Frugal Frames started 30 years ago. It's a husband and wife, truly a mom and pop little store. And the reason why we opened it is because my husband worked for Graduate Hospital and I worked for a major bank doing underwriting. And the two of us were having a really hard time with our careers. It was very stressful. And we said, let's start a business that's called like KISS, keep it simple and stupid. Picture framing. It's a bunch of rectangles. It works really well. But it was just the time for us to start a business was before we had major obligations such as children.
And how long had you guys been married before starting the business?
Oh no, we got married after we started the business. So we started in 96. We got married later in 97 and had our first kid in 99. And like I said, it's good to start a business before you start major obligations.
That's awesome. And so, I guess, was there a specific moment where you both knew you had to go all in with this, or?
It was really a response to the market at that time and the stresses of being employed for other people. To be in control of your own destiny, so that you don't get fired and then you're not scrambling around trying to find another job and trying to reorient yourself with another company. So we were always very entrepreneurial in our spirit, so we knew we wanted to be self-employed pretty early on, and then after that we were basically unemployable, because once you work for yourself, it makes it really hard to work for other people.
And was it just the two of you when you started off, or did you guys have employees?
It's always been just the two of us.
When you were getting that capital and starting up and growing, did you have a support system, or was it just the two of you?
Our families were very instrumental. This is pretty much where the capital came from, was from mom and pop on both sides, and we were very, very grateful. But when you start a business, it's really hard to get capital because you're new. You don't have a track record. So they're just the pitfalls any business falls into in being able to get funding, which is why we had to rely on our parents. But if we wanted to grow any bigger than we are right now, a source of funding would be very important to us.
And once you saw that growth, I guess, what has been the highlight of your business so far?
The highlight of our business. All right. So there's a funny story I want to tell you. And it started off pretty early on in our careers. So about 3, maybe 2 years into being open. So this is our claim to fame. So we had this gentleman walk in, and his name was Ratface. And with a name like that, you're always a little skeptical. I'm like, what? Wait, hold on, what's going on? And he says, well, we're filming a movie in Philadelphia, and we need a prop, and we need it by tomorrow. Well, with custom picture framing, there's nothing done by tomorrow. It's custom. So you wait, we get lengths of framing, and you have to cut it down, and you have to, cut the mat, cut the frame, assemble. So usually you don't even have materials till another week. But anyway, Ratface walks in. He needs this prop by tomorrow, and he drops a couple of names, and he says, yeah, there's a Bruce Willis movie that is being shot in Philadelphia, and it's called The Sixth Sense, and it's a new director, and we needed a prop by tomorrow. So luckily for us, they were actually filming around the corner from us from where we lived. So we knew he was for real, even with that name. So we said, okay, fine, tell us what we need to do. And he gave us the whole description. And so in Sixth Sense, the main character played by Bruce Willis, which is Dr. Malcolm Crowe, he receives a plaque for being a prominent child psychologist. And in the beginning of the movie, he talks all about this prop. We didn't know any of that. We did the prop. We presented it to Ratface. Ratface did whatever he wanted to do with it in terms of filming, and then and we never saw the movie. We had a child. We were overwhelmed, starting a business, a brand new baby. We never saw the movie. We kind of figured, oh, it's going to be this doctor's plaque that hangs on the back of the wall. Nobody's ever going to, even bother seeing it. Well, here it's prominently featured. And my mother-in-law, 2 years later, after we did the prop, says, you have to see the movie. You have to see the movie. So we happened to be down in Florida because, as a mom and pop business, you never get vacation time. So we're down in Florida and she's babysitting our little girl, and we watched the movie and we're like, oh my God, I can't believe we did not see that. We are like majorly featured. Our prop is like front and foremost because it takes place right before he gets shot. So after the movie's done, and it's Sixth Sense, so it's a little paranormal, and we're like, wow, we should get in touch with Ratface. I think M. Night Shyamalan is filming another movie in Philadelphia. And you kind of go, how do we get in touch with Ratface? The next day, we get a phone call. And I'm like, so my brother-in-law was watching the store while we're down in Florida with visiting my in-laws. And he goes, I don't know if this is for real, but this guy walks in and his name is Ratface, and he needs frames for a new movie that they're filming. And all of a sudden, my husband and I are like, are you kidding me? What are the odds that we didn't see the movie for 2 years? The night before we see the movie, we say, the night of seeing the movie, we kind of tell ourselves, oh my goodness, we should get in touch with Ratface. The next day, he calls our store, and I'm like, this is really odd. This is really strange. So the next props were for the movie Unbreakable. Nemesis scene where Dr. Glass, played by Samuel L. Jackson, was featured, and we did all the framing for his comic book gallery that he was working at. So it's just this really very funny paranormal story that we have, and we were featured on a whole bunch of movies after that, but that's kind of our claim to fame.
Oh, that's awesome. It sounds like fate. And so following that, since that sounds like a really high of the business, has there been like a low of the business? Like, what's your lowest valley?
Oh my goodness. And being in business for 30 years, we've survived 2008. We've survived the pandemic, which was really tough. There was, even when we started, the .com of 99 was really difficult. We have 2 locations, one in Philly, one in Montgomeryville, where they're doing tons of construction. So construction has shut us down when people can't even bother coming into the intersection where we're at. So you live through a lot of highs and lows being self-employed. And at those lows is when you usually need the funding, right? At the highs, there's lots of money there. So you either make a little nest egg for yourself, or, it gets really tough to try to make your mortgage when, there's a pandemic and you're shut down. It makes it's a little hard to juggle the flow of funds. And then you add 3 kids in college. Ooh, makes it really, really, really difficult. So.
And so, since like the rise of technology, have you noticed more of like an increase, a decrease in traffic, or what does that look like for you?
What helps us is actually word of mouth, and the fact that we've been a staple in the community for 30 years. So we are doing frames for children of customers from 30 years ago, and it's because mom and pop go, they said, oh, this was done at Frugal Frames. You have to go get your stuff framed at Frugal Frames. So our philosophy is kind of old school. The customer's always right, even when the customer's not right, but the customer's always right. And then the other most important things of what we do that allow us to grow is good design, always do right by the artwork. um, and I think it's just it's been the word of mouth that has worked well for us, and being that we come from a different generation, we don't really rely as much on technology as we should. And if we were to rely on technology, I'm sure we would grow exponentially. But you kind of, you kind of proceed with what you know.
No, and it seems like you're very successful and following that motto, customer is always right. Is that what has led you to the success over the past 30 years, or?
I attributed the success of our business to two things. First of all, it's the design. Design is key. If you take a beautiful piece of artwork and you do the wrong design, you're really taking away from someone's appreciation of how beautiful the art is or their memento is. And conversely, if you have the right design, you really enhance someone's appreciation of the artwork, where the art and the framing become kind of one and you don't separate one from the other. So our motto is kind of like, it's your art, but it's our masterpiece, because we fuse the art with the right matting, with the right frame style, and it just becomes a spectacular item in the end. And then the other part of our success is the customer's always right. We show a number of things to the customer, and sometimes, and we kind of lead them to kind of like a decision that we want, because we've have the benefit of 30 years of design. So we know what will look good on the art. The customer is new to this. So yes, those are the two fundamental things. Customer's always right, great design, and then the quality of the materials you use. So for example, our frames are all wood. They're not plastic, composite of a chipboard. All our mats is acid free, very important. Acidity will just kill the artwork. We use conservation glass. Conservation glass is kind of sunscreen for your artwork so that it doesn't fade over time. And when you use all the right materials, then the masterpiece you give to your customer is going to last a lifetime.
Now, in a situation where the customer says, okay, I want this funky color to go with this art, and you have all the experience, you know what works best, you know what goes best. Do you lean to the customer if they say, hey, I know you recommend this, and I know you have 30 years experience, and I know you think this frame works best, but I still really like this frame?
Oh yeah.
You go with the
client? Oh, absolutely. Okay. In the end, when it comes to art, it's in the eye of the beholder, right? So even when we look at colors, over the years I've noticed that we see things differently. What looks yellow to me may look gray to somebody else. What looks very crimson to me might look red to somebody else. And then you have people who are literally colorblind, and you design something, and then in the end they're like, well, I gotta go with your opinion because I can't really even see this color. But in the end, they know the space where it's going to. So they know whether they want, something plain or contemporary, or whether they want something a little bit more ornate. So because they know their space, and because they have very individual sense of style, I could only design to the art itself, so I know what would work well with the art. But whether we go more contemporary or more traditional is really up to the customer. Sometimes when I think something is going to be truly wrong, I try to kind of like lead them and explain to them why I don't think this is going to look right. But in the end, it's going to be on their wall. It's how they see the art. So they do have the final say. And when they don't like it, when they pick it up, then they'll go, okay. And I have redone art just because the customer really didn't like it after they made the decision. And I said, it's no problem. I understand. Let's redo it. Half the time it's with my original suggestion. And then I just kind of try to work it out so that, they're happy, the art looks great. Because in the end, if they're happy and the art looks great, we're going to have a repeat customer.
Thank you.
You got it.
And so is there a legacy or what you want Frugal frames to be remembered by?
Oh, are enough Frugal Frames finished pieces in the city of Philadelphia that if Frugal Frames closes tomorrow, 10 years from now, there will be pieces out there that look phenomenal, and the customers will say, that's the company that did it, and they will remember my name. And we have built a reputation that will be our legacy. So yes, there are pieces in movies. There are several of our pieces that are props in movies. There are several pieces in, very prominent lawyers and very prominent analysts who are featured on TVs, and our frames are featured on their back walls. Frugal Frames was always about mom and pop working it, and customers coming in and just creating the best art that we can for the customers. That is our legacy.